while unpacking stuff in our new house, of course, you see my old Animaniacs figurines and so forth. Some of Linda's plushies and MC Pinky in the house, yo. Nerf. But I also found some of my old electronic games, which are now collector's items. I had these when they were new. The Tron game here. And I've got an old Star Wars game. Don't know how much that's worth these days. An Alien and Hack game. I played that a lot. But I found this one that I thought was really interesting. This was a game called Redline. The battery connector actually is slightly broken, so hopefully it'll work okay here. But this game came out around 1980 or so, and previous handheld electronic games just used a piezo buzzer for sound. They just did little beeps and boops, and this was kind of groundbreaking in the sound. It has no volume control. It's a very, very loud game. So it's a drag racing game. You got a little readout here of your RPM. It'll also show your miles per hour and ETs. And you got a gear indicator here. And you've got 4 different types of vehicles. And it was designed to be plugged in. You plug 2 units in together. There's a connection on the bottom. I never got a chance to do that because I never knew anybody who also had this game. Let's see if I can do this without knocking the battery lead out. Oops. Okay. .453, 255 miles an hour. The buttons don't work too good. The red light, I guess, just means that there was no connection with another unit. There's a funny thing about this game. In terms of the ETs and the top speed you can get. Whoops. The gear button doesn't work too well, so I just over-revved and blew it. Let's see if I can get an example of very unrealistic ETs that you could get for a game that came out in 1980. .360. 281 miles an hour. So 3.6 seconds and 281 miles an hour. That would mean you accelerated rather quickly. Of course, nobody got under 4 seconds for another almost 10 years or so. And 281 miles an hour was very slow, because they regularly do over 300 these days. So that was a little bit off. It's just kind of a trick where you hit the gear with the gas on, it kind of jumps the car forward a little bit. But the 4 classes, that's top fuel. They have funny car. Let me see if I can get a better view of the indicators here. And so the funny car has a higher rev of 10,000 RPM. Oops, button doubles there. There we go. .663 for a funny car, 185 miles an hour. Again, the times are obviously based on the 1980s, but for some reason the top fuel can be much faster than reality. And then you got modified, which has a 9,000 RPM top end, and then stock, which I guess is like pro stock, which has a 7,000 RPM limit. Whoa. Blew the engine. Not used to the low revs on the lower class there. But yeah, that's Redline from Kenner Electronics. It still works. Barely. One of the battery connectors is broken, but okay. Shush. Very loud game. But yeah, I thought that was. I played that so much, even though I never had a chance to play it against somebody else, because there's a connector here on the bottom where you would connect one. You know, I think it's just Well, it's a little bit bigger than a standard stereo jack. So, yeah, the problem was it didn't use a standard connector, I guess. So, you know, finding somebody who had another one to actually race against, it would have been an interesting try, but never found somebody who had another one. But yeah, played that a lot. So, oh, here's something funny. While I've got time with my video, before Doctor Who magazine became Doctor Who Monthly, it was Doctor Who Weekly, and this is issue number 42, July 1980. Tom Baker was still the Doctor. That's kind of interesting. Well, actually, I did find something interesting on here. The Doctor's companion in the comic book was a black woman. This is about 20, 30, almost 30, or 25 years before the TV series had a black companion. The comics did. So that was interesting. But yeah, they've got the story. I think Peter Davison had been announced as the Fifth Doctor at this point, so I think there are references to him in here somewhere. But yeah, remember the Key to Time series? I mean, that had just come out, so they have articles about that. I haven't looked through this in a long time, obviously, so I don't really know exactly what was in it. I have a comic book, the first comic book that was published in the U.S., Doctor Who comic book, and there's a very interesting thing in that. I wish I had Linda bagged it and put it away, but it has a introduction of the Doctor for American viewers who may not be familiar with Doctor Who, and it says what the Doctor's real name is, and it was this mathematical equation. I don't know where they got that information, but the weirdest thing is that a few years later, in the Five Doctors story, that equation is seen in Rassilon's tomb, and all the Doctors that gather around it when they're reading, this inscription. So that equation's, I don't know if that's just a well-known mathematical equation or something, or was that always around? That's kind of confusing. Anyway, this video was supposed to be about Redline, so I'm just kind of rambling. So there you go. Redline. Maybe someday I'll hook up the Tron game or something and do that as well. The Star Wars game has a couple of LEDs that don't work anymore, but it'd be interesting to know what those things are worth these days. And those are all Linda's plushies. I still have a bunch from back in the day packed away. Oh yes, I have Vectrex. One of these days I'll hook that up and show you that. If I can find the cartridges.